Director, is there has been a recent discussion about implementing stop and frisk in cities to address crime, even at the national level. And although the data shows that this disproportionately targets people of color, and just to give you some context, in 2011, when stop and frisk activity reached an all-time high in New York City, police stopped 685,000 people. 53% of those individuals were black, 34% were Latino, and 9% were white. More than half were ages 14 to 24 years old, and of the 685,000 people that were stopped and frisked, 88% were neither arrested nor received any sort of citation. Do you believe this stop and frisk policy is an effective tactic to address crime in our nation's cities? What would a federal implementation look like that Mr. Trump has called for? And how can Congress minimize racial profiling and discriminatory, ineffective techniques like stop and frisk, and instead promote activities that build trust and confidence between the police and the community?
I don't know what a federal program would look like, because we're not in the policing business. We're investigative agencies at the federal level. But the Terry stop, the stop and frisk is not a term we use in the federal system. The Terry stop, which is a stop of an individual based on reasonable suspicion that they're engaged in criminal activity, is a very important law enforcement tool. To my mind, its effectiveness depends upon the conversation after the stop. When it's done well, someone is stopped, then they are told, I stopped you because. We have a report of a guy with a gray sweatshirt who matches you. That's why I stopped you, sir. I'm sorry. Or I stopped you because I saw you do this behavior. Because the danger is what's an effective law enforcement technique can become a source of estrangement for a community, and you need the help of the community. So it's an important tool when used right, and what makes the difference between right and wrong is what's the nature of the conversation with the person you stopped.
Thank you, Director. Mr. Chairman, I would just like to finally associate myself with the remarks